Hey everyone, welcome back to Evony with Genghis. I got a topic that I haven't seen covered on any videos ever, and even my own, and it's something that probably should be talked about. I'm talking about spies. What are they in Evony? What are they good for? How do you catch them? I'm talking about early server spies, right? Or even like mid server spies. When your server's fully developed and you have one dominant alliance, spies don't matter at all. And I'm not talking about spies in SVS where, all of a sudden SVS week there's a K10 who's like, "Hey guys, I'm from a different server. I just want to restart. Could you help me out? Could I join an alliance? I just want to build. Trust me, I'm a good player." Like, I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about long term spies in rival alliances. What do they want? Like, what's their main purpose? So, I guess there's kind of two purposes for spies. One is gossip, right? People like to talk, people love to read what's going on in the chats. Some people really care, like, "Oh my God, are they talking about me? I need to know," that sort of stuff. That's all kind of useless. Doesn't matter at all. The main thing a spy could ever do is this: share monster locations that you have on the map, right? So you could see, you could see ahead of time, like, "Oh, they're gonna set this, they're gonna set this," or what you could also do with that exact same information, you could go into here and you could be like, "They got a minute 30 left on the rally that we also have started. Send ours now, send ours now, beat them to it." So that's the main reason for spies in Evony. The main purpose is to fight for monsters on the map. When you're early server Evony or kind of mid server, and what I mean is like right at the start of Evony till about, a year and a half. Usually that's about the time where people are still fighting for monsters and you really, you want to get to them before the other alliance. Before everybody kind of tends to merge into one alliance. If your server merges into one alliance much earlier, then you guys are fortunate and you're probably one of the best competitive servers out there. So you really want to fight for the monsters on the map, and that's the main reason for having spies in other alliances. Some people think it's to find bubble drops, but really, like, how hard is it to find a bubble drop? Like, you just move the cursor over here and you could just look for yourself and look for a bubble drop, right? So you really don't need a spy for that. But you will get information from a spy for that because you'll have people in their alliance posting like, "Oh my God, so and so's down." But that's not something you can hide. So I don't really think that's a spy's main purpose. The main purpose is to steal monsters. How do you find the spy? How do you capture them or kick them out, weed them out? So, kind of two reasons, I think. Kind of two main ones. One is, are they constantly dropping bubble? Are they always getting hit by the same alliance? Like, is someone coming to collect their resources? So that would be one main thing that would be a tip off to me. I remember back on 136, so that was the server that Neff and I started on. I remember we had like these two supposed South African girls who lived together, Remy and I can't remember the other one's name. And every time we went in Battlefield, they got hit. They got looted every time for months. And I was like, "Guys, like, these have to be spies. Every time we're in Battlefield, so we can't boot and loot them, someone else is getting them. And if they're not spies, they're just really bad players, and we shouldn't be having this in the alliance." So the word never came out whether they were spies or not. They slowly just eventually left the game, but some people said, they're in South Africa, so that happened to be about 10 p.m. South African time during our Battlefield time. So that's when they set their bubbles. So that's why they were dropping bubbles. I don't know. To me, it was a big coincidence. I don't really believe in coincidences. And then risk reward. Is it really worth keeping someone? Like I remember at the time, we were like K33, K34, and these two people, and there were other people like them as well, not to pick on them. They were like K24, really struggling to get to K25. Or they got to K25 and never went to K26. And those are key levels for spies. K25, right? They want to get the 5 marches, and then after that, there's no reason to go any higher. So if someone's stuck at K25 for a long time, there's kind of, maybe someone doesn't want to use the resources to go up to K26 when there's not much benefit, and they'd rather just stay 25 with the 5 marches and collect all those resources. So that's a way to catch them, right? Like no growth. No growth is really suspicious to me in this game. And then I have 2 other ways to really catch someone. So one way, but 2 reasons. So there's some people in this game, I don't know why, but they don't want to communicate with people outside of the game. So, hey, join our line group, join our Discord group, do audio calls, voice calls for Battlefield. And some people won't. They absolutely refuse. And they have all sorts of excuses. So to me, there's really only 2 reasons why you wouldn't join the group. One, you're not who you say you are. So you're either a spy and you don't want to out yourself, or there's a large amount of people who play this game and they're just not who they say they are. Like they might not be a spy, but they own like 6 accounts on server. I've seen it before where someone quits the game and just like 6 random bubbles drop. It's like, wow, I guess that person owned all of those accounts. Or there's people who, there's some guys out there pretending to be girls. Why would they do this? Because females tend to be treated easier in the game. A honey trap, right? That's the classic thing. Like guys, like girls. And, some guys play this angle and want to take advantage of other guys and be treated easier. Don't be attacked early on. So that could be a reason why they don't want to go on the call. And it could happen reverse too. Girls could be pretending to be guys. And they don't want to go on the line call because then they'll get exposed. How can you prevent this? So basically just make no exceptions. Like you have to join our Discord or line group. And we're going to talk. One alliance on my old server used to do a mandatory. You had to do a video or a picture and prove it was from today. Like, I don't know, like if they asked you, like, do a certain thing with your hands or hold up a date of a newspaper, that's probably, to 1995-ish for that. But they wanted some sort of proof of your picture or video being from today so that they could see. And I laughed at it. I always thought it was stupid. But I do think that it's admirable that they thought that spies were that important to catch and to keep people out of their alliance that they didn't want there, that they went to those extremes. So, it was really hard. Like, I remember my alliance was trying to put a spy in their alliance, and we couldn't do it. Like, it was hard. They always wanted to do the line call thing, and they also wouldn't trust any keeps that were small. Just like I said, like, they were always like, why is this K25, 25 million want to join us? And you got to think to yourself, risk reward. Like, when you're trying to bust people who are spies, you're obviously always going after the small people, right? Because the large people, they're kind of growing and, they have an investment in the game and there's no motivation really for them to spy. So you're always looking at the small players. And unfortunately, it's going to be people who don't spend on the game, who get kind of caught up in this and have a little bias against them. And, there's nothing wrong with free players, but you have to think to yourself, like, risk reward. Is it worth it bringing in this 25 million K24 player who doesn't seem to grow very fast? What do they really bring to us? that make it worth it having them in our alliance, you know? If you've been with them since the start, like day one, I'm not talking about those people at all. I'm talking about the random people who try to join you later on. And don't think for a second that there's no spies out there. Let me know if you've caught them before, how your tactics of it, all that. I think it's a great topic to discuss. So like, subscribe, leave a comment.